kind of, you get instant feedback. Okay, well, I'm cutting the ball or I'm doing this. Where a lot of times the old school, you know, everybody's looking with an eye, not to say that that's wrong, but it's just, you know, it's hard for the person sometimes to, okay, well, is this really where I'm at? You know, kind of thing.
To incorporate the feel that we're talking about,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
So,
you know, but there's a lot of new technology out that really get you better. You know what I mean? That's why you see all these college kids just getting on tour so quick.
Go ahead and hit.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
All right. Just keep going.
Yeah. So
okay.
We'll just hit,
All right.
as I said, probably.
15 or something.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is my 8 iron.
Just keep going up.
Sometimes I feel like in my backswing, sometimes I feel like it's the club gets to where it needs to be, and then sometimes I feel like I get to like in here and I kind of lose it, and then I come through quick or whatever, you know.
Gotcha.
And that's when I have some issues too. That one felt like it maybe took it back too far or something.
Just take a look here. Yeah, you're pretty right on that.
See, I got back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where I could feel it just getting back over my shoulder maybe too far.
Right, it felt a little out of control, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Which then throws off my contact point and everything, I guess. A little better. It went way left. And I guess when you hit a lot left, to me, it makes you feel like when I line up right and open the club, it makes you feel like you're just going to go straight that way, you know, to me.
Yeah.
In my head, you know.
Well, the thing is that the more you aim to the right, the more you have to bring it left, and then you just start getting yourself in a crazy pattern where you're trying to flip the face to get over. Does that make sense?
Yeah, with the same swing, I'm trying to go out there and push it out to the right.
And if we have any face open or we leave it open, it's just blocked, right?
Right. And I know sometimes I'll, you know, be hitting a 7 iron on a par 3 or something, and one of my things is if I don't catch it real clean, I kind of get the toe in the ground early, maybe.
Or it sounds like early release a little bit for me.
Yeah, maybe. And it'll actually cause the club to maybe twist in your hand just a little bit, you know, instead of getting that firm contact, I guess. Just keep swinging at that same speed, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
just letting you warm up.
Okay.
Looking at some videos here.
What is that negative on that attack angle, I guess?
So this is club path right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that tells me that we're slightly coming over the top a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, our face angle is open. Okay, so that's why it went out to the right. Okay, your attack angle was 5 degrees down. Let's see if we can get your low point here real quick. Low point distance. Okay. All right, so our low point is 4.4 inches ahead of the ball, which is good for an iron, not good for a driver. For a driver, we want to be before the ball, okay, because we want to hit it on the up right there. So what do we got? We got a carry of 130 with a rollout of 143. The big thing I like to make sure of with the irons is that we're more focused on what the carry is, okay, than the total. And what we really kind of want to have is we want to have, especially with a shorter iron like an 8 or a 9 there, we want to have the carry be where it is and the total not be so far ahead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because if I'm trying to hit it 130, let's say, with my iron, right, and I hit it 130 and it rolls to 143 or whatever it is, I'm on the backside or over the green. Does that make sense? Right.
Almost like you're hitting a little thin, maybe, or two.
Yeah, I would say that.
Or not catching getting the backspin on it, I guess.
Well, yeah, I think there's a few things here. With a little bit of the over the top motion, we get a little bit of that extra juice that we don't need per se, right?
Yeah.
And that usually results in, you know, our spin rate not being where it needs to be, right?
Gotcha.
So your spin rate on this should, with an 8 iron, is going to be about 1,000 less than the iron. So it should be about 7,000 RPMs.
Okay.
72 RPMs right there. So that means there's a lot more spin, stop, right?
Okay.
And then as we kind of go. So that's what we kind of look for with the iron. Does that make sense?
Yep. All right. That one felt like I got a little bit lower set, I guess.
Okay.
In the backswing, maybe.
Okay. Well, you definitely got it. You know, the big thing is that we definitely got a little bit over the top.
Right.
So.
And that's that negative 3.9.
Correct.
That keeps.
Correct. So if I kind of go here, right, we can see that there's kind of a pattern here of most of your shots being a little bit over the top. Okay.
Okay.
And I think that kind of comes from the extra length that we're putting into the swing, which is a little bit of a lift. And then what you have to do, we all have to do, is once that club gets out of control, we got to kind of push it away from us to get it started.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's kind of take a look at that swing real quick. Okay. All right. So first thing I see here a little bit is I would say that club or that ball is a little bit too far back in our setup to start off with. Okay. The grip looks like it's pretty good. Okay. I don't see any issues too much with the grip. Okay. Just a few questions. Do you feel it in the fingers with your left hand?
Probably more in the palm.
Okay, so that could be a control issue too a little bit. Okay, so that might be the reason why we're taking it back so far and trying to gain control, which is just not going to happen for us. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
So we'll kind of come back to that real quick.
Okay.
All right, as we kind of run through here.
watching off of this one, it's a little easier.
That's fine, whatever works best for you. Okay. So if I could get you to right here, that would be pretty well perfect. Okay? Your hands are as far away from your ear as what we need.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's kind of continue on here. Now you can kind of see just a little bit that we get. The club wasn't as far along as it was in the first one, so you're learning right there. Great. Okay. Kind of standing up a little bit. Okay. Let's see, yeah, and then we're kind of getting a little bit of a hand flip here, and you can kind of see we're starting to get kind of the tendency of a chicken wing on that left arm. You see that? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so a few things here, right? I would like to see maybe a little bit wider stance, just a smidge, okay, to help us out, okay? I'd like to see that ball a little bit more up, okay? Because once I get that ball a little bit more up, you're not going to have so much of this tilt back.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you can kind of see where JT here, he's a little bit more up and down than where you are. Okay? So if I can get that ball to move up in our setup just a little bit, so let me kind of go here, here. All right, if I kind of drew a line right here in the middle of us.
Be more, yeah, okay.
All right, I'd like to see that ball just forward of center.
Okay.
Okay, so somewhere up here, okay?
Is the hand and press forward in the right spot, kind of, or?
Well, that should change once we start moving the ball position, right? Then that'll start moving accordingly, right? So if you kind of look at JT here, I think he has maybe a 6-iron or a 7-iron, right? You see how much more up of center it is?
Yeah.
And his hands are slightly ahead of the ball, but not this far.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And one question you had is forward shaft lean, right? A lot of people. There's two schools of thought of people. They think they either get the shaft lean by setting the club this way, okay, or you'll see a lot of the kids do this. Thank you, YouTube. Right? Is you'll see a lot of kids doing this in the parking lot, and out there they're doing this. Right? Oh yeah, that's terrible. Right? That's about the worst. Right? Where forward shaft lean comes from is a place that nobody really talks about or thinks about. Right? As I get to here and I get set, my forward shaft lean is going to start coming now. See how I come forward?
Then forward.
That's it, right? So you'll see in the hand pass, a lot of people, you'll see the club out wide and then the club gets narrow, right? That's where you're going to get your forward shaft lean right there, okay? And then as I turn through, I get here, boom, there's my forward shaft lean. That's as much as I need, okay? I don't need to have all this or anything like that. It's going to be here and then release those hands, okay? If you see a kid out in the parking lot doing this, then he's going to beat your ass. If you see a kid out here doing this, you're going to beat his ass. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right?
All right.
All right, so that's one thing that we kind of see. All right, let's kind of move through here just a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to kind of demonstrate that here with JT.
Yeah, I can see where my shoulders are not very level because of ball placement or whatever.
Right, so it's kind of like what I was telling Travis there a little bit too, right? Is that the more the ball's back in my setup, right, and I'm here, the more I'm going to have to go back to go get it.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yeah, because you got to get behind it. Kind of.
Correct. And what am I going to do to get back to that thing? I'm going to extend and get out of the way, right? If we take a look at you, right, here, and now you're going to get back on up. See how you start to extend up? And that's just all ball position. Yeah. Right? So if we change that, a lot of things start to change for us.
Okay. And there's that flick where it should be that finish, like, well, let's see, JT's over here, how he finishes after the ball.
Boom.
Boom.
Right? And now the right form's going to overtake the left.
Yeah.
Right? So he's got more of that idea of pushing that club past him, through him, instead of kind of like,
yeah, right there, yeah.
Right? Okay. Okay. Now I do want to take a video down the line here a little bit, okay? Because I think that right elbow a little bit is getting out and away from us just a little bit. Okay.
And when you say that, that means flying?
Yeah, kind of like a flying elbow. I mean, it worked for Jack Nicklaus, okay? I don't really see that per se terribly too much. Maybe Scotty Scheffler gets away with that a little bit, right? But I don't see terribly too many people doing this.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
where they get that elbow kind of a little too high, that right arm a little too high. We want to kind of feel like most of the time when I see the good guys or the pros, you'll see when they get to the top, their right elbow is just underneath their left arm.
Okay.
Okay, but if I'm kind of like this, then that's going to kind of promote that over the top motion. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. Good.
Now, when you take the club back, I mean, do you concentrate on like a straight back to here, or does that club need to be there? I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of.
No, you're fine. I mean, you've got
Okay.
questions, and I want to answer them for you. Absolutely.
Okay.
What I would suggest here, okay, and this is something I've seen from old school to new school to wherever you want to be. It's probably a drill that Tom Morris designed, right? But what I would do, right, for takeaway purposes, right, to answer your question, I would get one ball inside of where my ball is going to be, about 6 to maybe 7 inches back behind that, right? And this is, this is the feeling I want to have, is once I get that club to hit this, it's going to gently go back, and then I'm going to start to hinge up. Okay. I want to try to get control of this club face as soon as I can, right?
Okay.
I see a lot of people, they get way out wide like this, right? Their shoulders have turned almost halfway and they haven't gotten a wrist hinge,
Okay.
right? So that could be definitely one thing that we're facing here, right? Is that, one time I hit it really good and then one time I don't, because your wrist set and your shoulder turn aren't matching up.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit? So what I want to kind of do here, right, if you kind of see me, right, the ball's not going to go back. It's just going to gently go back. Okay, see where I'm at? And right there is as much as I really need. Everything else, a little extra, right? But at this point, I can really drive my hands back down to where they are, and I can rotate and turn through.
Okay.
Right? So when I watch people like John Rahm, people are like, well, he's got a short swing. Well, short to what, right? If I put him on the video, his wrist and shoulders match up beautifully, right, to what he's doing, right? Tony Finau's another one, right? You would say he's a short swing, but if I look at his wrist to shoulder turn, it's absolutely perfect, right? So it's just, what's your range of motion, right? And what is your wrist and shoulder set like? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So if I get like this and I keep my club going and I've got my shoulders turned, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to lift to get that.
Further back.
Correct.
To get your wrist cocked and everything.
Correct. And then I'm just kind of out of motion, right? So the big thing I find is I'm trying to take motions out instead of putting them in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep,
Once again, just a great little drill I would suggest for everybody, right, is get that one ball inside, okay, about 6 inches there. And all I would kind of practice is just, and that's all you need to do. We're not trying to kill it, we're just trying to get a feel for that. Does that make sense?
Right.
Now another way you can kind of practice that, just to kind of give you an idea right there, right, if I take the club and I put it maybe just about where my hands are over my right foot, maybe just on the edge of my right foot, I'll give myself a little bit more. That's where I want to kind of be.
Okay.
Okay? I don't want my hands to outrace my shoulder turn.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit?
So when I get to here, you want to go ahead and start cocking right there, and that's where your
correct
point would be.
Yep. So
then just straight up from there.
Yeah.
Like here.
Yeah.
And
so
that's about all I need right there.
So yep, you're good. So set. Good.
Right there. Okay.
There you go. You feel like you got more of a shoulder turn?
Yeah.
So that's really as far as we need to kind of go for what we're trying to do now. Now you're going to feel even more powerful and more control of what you have. So just kind of come down and through for me.
Right there.
So here we go as you come through. Allow those hands. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And that's where you're supposed to throw this.
Yeah, the head's going to get out of the way for you, right? All that
right.
good stuff that they talk about, right? But if I kind of have this guy kind of bowing up like this, then I'm going to kind of stand up to make room for that, right? And then I'm going to kind of get those little alligator arms that we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So the big thing is, right, is as we kind of see here, right, I just want to kind of work on the ball position to start off with. I think a lot of things, not that it's going to, that's the key to it all, but I think that's a good start for us, right? So I think when you're talking about how you got to aim out to the right to bring it back to the left, ball position's part of that, right? And if you get stuck at any point of that, boop, off to the right it goes, right? The old shankadoodle, right? Nobody likes that guy, right? Okay, so without having too much thought, right? We've had a good conversation here.
Okay.
I just want you to play this ball, okay, where it feels annoyingly up in your setup, okay? Right, so wherever you think it is, okay, and I'm going to kind of let you get a feel for it first, right?
And you said wide down just a little.
So here's what I'd kind of do here before we even do this, right? So give me a narrow stance.
Narrow?
Yep.
Okay.
Now give me a swing and tell me if you feel powerful.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of getting off balance just a little bit. Right there.
So give me an extra wide stance, okay? And tell me if you can swing with power.
I can, but I got
You
myself
lose
out
balance,
a little bit.
right?
Yeah, you lose balance, right?
So let's find a place in between that,
Okay.
right? And tell me if you feel like you can swing with control and power at the same time.
Yeah, a lot better.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the reason that is that each one of us have different equilibriums in our ear, right? So some people, I will get that and they'll be like, listen, I feel real powerful in narrow stance. Okay. I get some people really wide. They feel that, right? But each person's different just because of that, right? So what we want to do is we want to have a setup or a stance that we can feel control and power at the same time, right?
I think what happens too sometimes is you're like, say you're 70 yards, all right, and I'm hitting, say, a knockdown 50 degree or a sand wedge in there. Well, they always want you to kind of keep your feet together a little bit more, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that even kind of parlays into the 125-yard shot, maybe not quite as narrow, but you don't get them far enough out.
Yeah.
Because you almost feel like, well, now I'm not swinging with touch or finesse or whatever, you know?
Right.
I mean, that's just me in my mind thinking that. It's not that it's right, that's just...
But you start to, and if I had to put a word onto it, you start to steer the club instead of swing it. Does that make sense? Right. So we want to be able to have a stance that we can swing through confidently and go, right? And I think that just kind of sometimes comes to the idea, I want to control the face as much as possible, right? And then we get so bound up with trying to control the face or hit the ball straight that we forget about balance and touch and all those athletic things that come to us. Does that make sense? Right. So we definitely want to have a stance that, with a pitching wedge or with an 8-iron that we can feel like we can be powerful with. Now, the other thing I would say is if I have a 70-yard shot or something like that, I'm not going to take a 52 to hit it on there. I'm probably going to take like an 8 or a 7 with that little stance so I can take a shorter swing and not feel like I've got to hit it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, if you're say you're carrying a bunker.
Okay.
And you've got to hit like some kind of lob shot over the bunker kind of thing, what are you going to hit, 70 yards? Is it going to be your lob or your sand wedge or?
If I'm trying to take it high, then I'm probably going to take like a 56 or a 52. Okay. If I'm taking a 52, I'm going to choke down quite a bit, right? But I'm going to still keep my good base stance so I can swing through it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So in other words, like they always talk, DeChambeau uses that clock thing, like the 10 to 2 or the 9 to 3.
Yeah.
But that way you're kind of like staying firm, but at the same time you're lessening your swing.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
So if you're an analytical kind of person, right? You might want to use like what we used to do as kids is 9 to 3. Right? Figure out where this 9 to 3 is for you and what's that distance. Right? Work on your distance with your clock, right? And just go out to the range or I think they've got Top Tracer out there or something like that. And just go, hey, from 9 to 3, what is my average yardage? Right? You may be surprised how great or how less that is, right? But that's going to be the big thing for you right there, is that we don't want to try to guess. Right, and that's what a lot of people are doing is guessing, right? Now the other thing I would suggest, right, is if I don't feel comfortable getting over that bunker, right, don't be afraid to hit away from the pin and get on the green.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? There's nothing worse than getting into the bunker and we're plugged or we over the thing, right?
Right.
Don't be afraid, games of...
Play to the safe spot.
What does Scotty Scheffler do?
Middle of the green.
Center of the green. So he wears people out with that, right?
Yeah.
He's not flag hunting or anything like that.
Well, I think a lot of us too, because of these lasers, you get in your head. And my buddy always tries, the one that's the better player, tries to tell me all the time, hey, middle, just think of center of the green. So there's a lot of information out there. Some people have on their phone or on those things or whatever. It'll tell you front, center, back. Think center of the green, because so many times with a laser, you're thinking pin.
Correct.
On, whatever, maybe I hit it short of the pin, but I want to be on line with the pin kind of thing. It's kind of the mode of, I guess, what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But maybe you could use that laser and get out to the middle of the green or see where the carry is to the front of the green or whatever, too. So, but
the big thing I do is I use a rangefinder a little bit, but I also use like a rangefinder that has the front, back, and middle, the digital ones, with the thing. And the big thing is I always ask, what's the back yardage? What's the yardage to the back?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I asked you, I said, if I gave you 10 shots from 150 yards, right? How many of those do you hit over the green?
Yeah, probably not many.
Right? How many do you hit short of the green?
Probably a higher percentage.
Correct. Because we usually just get based on where's that pin, where's just the center of the green, right? I'm always looking for the back number, especially if it's a middle to back pin. I'm always looking for that back number. So if I mishit it, I'm still what? On the front of the green, right? If I hit it pure, then I'm just on the back edge of it, right? And I can kind of, and most greens are from front to back. So it will give me a little, but if I hit it short, if as I said, if I gave you 10 shots, I guarantee you 4 or 5 of those are going to be short. None of them are going to be long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? And what do you see with the pros? They're never short.
Yeah.
They're always whole high or a little long, right? So you've got to know where's the miss, right? And that's what helps you score better. It's not always about just puring irons and making putts. It's about, I don't feel comfortable, for whatever reason, I don't feel comfortable going over that bunker or that piece of water or whatever it is, play away from it, and maybe you make a bogey, but it's not the double, the triple, the high number that keeps it on the card. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've kind of got in my head with my buddy, because, of course, he's a little bit better, but I look at, like, when he shoots 75, or 79, somewhere around there, it's usually a good number is like 11 pars. So I start out the round thinking, if I can get 11 pars somehow, some way, I don't know, maybe that's the wrong way to think. I don't know. No. But I look at his round, and that's where I try to get to. And I mean, so many, like the other day, I had 10 pars, and then the holes after that, it's not getting the big doubles and above. If I can keep it at bogey, then I'm right there at 80, 79.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's what I've kind of gone to thinking when I get into a round, because there's sometimes where you kind of start off slow, but if you can get it to where I can get on a little run of pars or whatever, and just playing safe.
Absolutely. Now the other thing that you can always do, I always break it into 3-hole groups. Okay, and if I were kind of thinking the way that you're thinking and that we most do, out of those 3 holes, I want to par 2 of them.
Okay.
Right, and that
puts you on that.
Just simplifies things. I'm here at these 3, right, and then I'm here at these 3. It's not looking all the way through to 18, right?
Yeah.
I just, it's kind of like, and I love how Nick Saban always says it. He says, get immersed in the process, not the result. Right? Just keep yourself in the trenches, right?
Well, that's the hardest thing. When you're you're that golfer that's trying to get into the 70s, to me, it's that staying away from that bad hole, that bomb, of a quad or something, and that just kills you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you feel it on the first hole. I don't feel comfortable on this hole, right?
Yeah.
I don't care. Grab a 5-iron if you need to. Just put it in the fairway, hit another 5-iron. Take your bogey and move along. It's not a double, it's not a triple, it's not the 8 on the card, right? It's not a birdie.
Off to a decent start.
Right, it gets you off to a good start. But I guarantee you, at least for me, I get on that tee and I'm like, I don't feel right here. I don't feel comfortable here, right? Grab a small club or hit like a little chasey cut or something down the middle, right? Just get you out in the fairway. And I guarantee you, just when you get in the fairway or out there in the area, you're like, I'm done with that, okay? Let's get to the next part, right? And just kind of plot your way around a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Don't be afraid to use a different club that's more control, you know, to get you to that point where you're confident.
Absolutely.
And going the other way.
I don't care if it's a 7-iron off the tee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just get yourself out there, get that nerves out of you, right? And then keep going and keep plotting along. I guarantee you that will help your score more than like, oh shit, I'm just gonna hit the driver anyway. Let's go with it. You know, my buddy just hit a driver, he bombed it 300 yards. I better keep up with him.
Oh yeah.
Remember, as I tell people, you're not playing against the person that you're with, you're playing against the green grass in front of you, right? So play the course, play what the architect gave you, right? And kind of, you know, get into what they're trying to get you to do a little bit, right? Instead of overpowering. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So getting back to what we're talking about, I think the big thing is here is just, as I said, get ourselves a nice, little bit wider stance. Okay, good. Right, shoulder width apart, good.
Move the ball up.
And just move the ball up, just slightly up the center.
And you would say inside that left heel,
Yeah,
probably?
so let me kind of do this real quick for us. This. All right, so here's our center of our setup, right?
Okay.
I like that. So let's just kind of give that a chance and see what we kind of do there, okay?
So right from where I'm at now?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
See, I mean, to me right now, the iron itself looks like I'm going that way. So that's why I feel like I got to put my hands forward, but this is normal to you right here, right?
So here, this is why we're going to check. I want you to take the club and point it straight out towards me. Okay? Is that face square?
Looks like it's closed a little bit.
Is that square?
Yep.
Okay. So to you, right, we're going to have to get used to where that face needs to be, right? And then we're going to put that club on the ground, and it's probably going to look like it's wide open to you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But we can tell that it's square, right? But we've probably gotten used to having that toe closed, so we can get that ball to go left. A little cheat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's our face. Now let's bring it straight on down for us. Okay? Probably see a lot more of that white line, don't we?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So take a swing?
Yeah, just take a normal old swing. Okay.
Wow, that was good.
A big change here. So our club path started to get more positive because we've got a chance to swing out towards the right now instead of getting stuck behind us. The face was a little bit closed, which is good. Everything's closer to zero where we want it to be. Our carry was 112, which I'm not worried about right now at this current time. A little bit closer to the 112. Still a little bit go, but that's okay. Our low point was a little bit not as strong as I would like it, but the big thing is that path and face are starting to match up a lot better now.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Any questions other than that, John?
So when you say low point, that's my contact point, where I'm making contact. So if I'm off at that 1.7, does that mean I'm hitting behind it or in front of it, kind of?
So that says, this tells us this right here. So it's 1.7 inches ahead is your low point.
Okay.
Okay. What I typically like to see here with all the clubs is I like to see it at about at least 3 to 4.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that really tells me that we're hitting down on it, right? Moving through it a little bit.
But if that shows that I'm picking up still.
Probably got a little bit of an early release.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit?
Yep.
Okay. So now it's better than a B in front of it, right? I'd much rather it be there, but if I had to make a sense, we're kind of early releasing and probably kind of tucking those arms in just a little bit.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit?
Right.
Okay.
So in your mind, right now, just keep working on this part of it, but to change that, I've got to use my legs more on the way down, kind of?
A little bit. We're going to kind of get more into that a little bit, more of keeping your arms out in front of you or maintaining your structure, okay? But if I were to say anything, right, have that ball just a little up of center and do me this one favor. Feel like you're hitting a punch shot.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so more of a just, so only take it back a certain level here, or?
Yeah, whatever kind of feels good for you, right? But I want you to kind of feel like it's more balls up, but I want you to feel like it's more of a little punch shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That way we're getting that low point down and through.
Okay. And that looks good on the grip there. I mean on the set up?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Good. So, right? So, big thing is here, right? Low point was really good.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why the carry was 112 and we got 138 total, but I think we got a little less spin, which is a little over the top. Okay, just a little bit. Face angle was good. Okay. Not to say that we have to have it positive every time, but I do want that closer to 0, right? There's a lot of players that play over the top, JT being one of them, Rombo being another, Brooks Koepka, right? So, I mean, but their path is usually pretty close to a 0 if it's a negative. Does that make sense?
So I'm getting over the top. I still got a little bit of flying elbow and coming this way a little bit, or
we probably just have a little reroute with our hands a little bit, is what
Okay.
I would say, is that the hands are getting just out and about. From
So I need to just drop more.
A little bit. I
Okay.
mean, it's not anything I'd really
Okay.
overly be concerned about, but what I would kind of say for that, right, how to practice that when we're out there is I would just get like another little alignment rod, get like this, and we want to feel like if this is on a clock face, right, this is 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock there, I want to feel like I'm swinging from 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock on a clock face.
Okay.
Okay, and that will get us swinging out towards that second baseman that we want
Okay.
to. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of put that right here as kind of like a jump.
Now the way this puts a little bit open, is that?
Perfect.
That's okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. That's
And
fine.
it's just a little bit on a fade setup, but I need to really concentrate here too.
No, I think you're doing good there.
Doing good here.
I would like to see this foot up just a little bit. Okay, good. Because what that's going to do is if my left foot gets back, then my shoulders start to go this way,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I want to feel like my shoulders are square.
So more.
Yeah, so
straight
just
line,
feel like
but
it's a
just
little-
bit open.
Yeah, just a little closed off. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Just a slight close of the stance, right? Because
Okay.
if I get that left foot out, that shoulder's going to be open, right? And then I'm going to have more of a tendency of wanting to swing over the top. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
Good. All right, good.
Okay. That felt really good. Okay.
Let's keep going. All right, good. 7-1 on the clock face. Here we go.
I feel really wide, but it's because I'm used to that narrow
Being so
stance.
narrow,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That one lost balance and fell
Lost
out
balance.
right, yeah.
Okay.
But I was really trying to push that way a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, you did really good with your path.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It was swinging out towards the second baseman.
Uh-huh.
The issue that we had was that the face was chasing the path,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if I was, let's just say I'm bowling, right?
Uh-huh.
If I'm bowling, right, I'm swinging out, I'm pushing that ball out to the right, but
Uh-huh.
what's my hand doing?
Yes, coming back left. Spinning.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
So we'll get to more of the club face closing a little bit for you, getting those forms to rotate when we
Okay.
start talking about the structure.
Put this ball like here, just right above that line?
Yeah, just ahead of that line, right? And feel like that line or that alignment rod's running right through your spine area, right? Dissecting you in half.
Okay, and like where the club is distance-wise here is good to you? There?
I mean, it's a little close.
So back just to here?
Yeah, I would like to be able to get a hand's width between the butt of the club and your groin area.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And I like to have the butt of the club point just left of my navel. Okay? So
Uh-huh.
if this is my navel right here, maybe just about an inch or a half inch left of my navel.
Okay.
Right? If there was yeah, there you go. And that's going to help give us that forward shaft lean at
Okay.
setup, right? Our hands just slightly forward of the iron.
Okay.
Good.
You know, one thing I noticed
Mhm.
with the wider stance, it's not like that turn, I guess here, maybe I'm still coming up out of it or whatever, but it feels a lot more like I'm locked in as far as moving.
So let's narrow up the stance just a smidge for me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Oh, and that probably didn't help that ball smashed. Yeah, that's not gonna help us at all there.
No.
No wonder that sounded so weird. I was like, what is that?
Okay. So narrow just a little bit.
Yeah, just a smidge. There you go. All right, maybe we just got a little wide with it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the right angle here?
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. I'm starting to see a lot of good numbers here, right? Half is positive. Face is just a little bit open, but we're going to address that here in just a little bit.
Okay.
The low point's getting a lot better. Okay, so your forward shaft lean or whatever you want to say is there.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take a look at this guy real quick.
Wow, and that's all, I mean, it feels wider than that with my feet, but it's not, God, so that's how how I'd gotten used to the narrow stance.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of.
And that looks normal.
Yeah,
To me,
exactly. That looks athletic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Much better job with the forward shaft lean. You see where the hands are
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
All right, very good.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Arms are getting better, okay, because you are hitting down and through it. The
Uh-huh.
arms are doing a lot better, okay? I don't see them getting, because I'm seeing some space right here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right. And
Mhm.
like after contact, is it still a little quick that I roll my hands, or is it? Or
No,
that's fine.
No, I think that's fine. I think that,
That point right there.
yeah, we're gonna get you to kind of get that face to close a little bit. So
Uh-huh.
it's gonna feel like it's kind of closing a little bit more rapidly on us, okay?
Now, where did my backswing? Because I was kind of making a point that, well, it still got back there, didn't it? A little bit.
It's a lot better than where it was. You were down over here when
Uh-huh.
we started, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right.
When you've been doing it so long that way, it's just, yeah.
Right.
You're like, because then you're like, well, my timing with this is going to be off.
Yes.
You know, because you're just so, you
Yes,
feel.
you're so used to that length of swing, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right, so the one thing I do kind of see here just a little bit, right, is that your shoulders are completely turned here, right?
Uh-huh.
That's good, that's 90 degrees, right? So our hands should stop at that point.
Uh-huh. And yeah, and then that's where the elbow kind of flies open a little bit. Right
Correct,
there. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes back to that idea. So if we look at JT here, right?
Uh-huh.
He does bring his hands a little bit further past his foot before he hinges, but look at his shoulder turn. It isn't as great as yours. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he's getting those things to match up. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And now he puts a little lateral shift forward like we always do, and then he just comes on down a little bit. Now he has a little bit of the right knee kicking out,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of his thing, okay? But the big thing is you can see that he's getting that nice wide extension as he comes through a little bit.
On that one, did I keep my foot down a little better in the back? The back foot coming down through, I guess?
Yeah, let's take a look here. Yep, you're pushing off nicely.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
that's better there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, as far as like, in the way I finished with my front foot and everything, that's the way it should be, kind of, I guess, around there.
Yeah, look.
Okay,
Look
okay.
at JT. You know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
on the outside of his foot here a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's
All right.
swinging with quite a bit of power.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to take a look down the line and see if we're doing a little bit of some early extension, because I see the chest is kind of coming up.
Yeah.
So-
It needs to be going down, not really down, but just staying on line, basically, right? Or staying level?
Yeah, what I would say is, and we'll take a look down the line, is I would say it's kind of one of those things that as we get up to the top, the belt buckle's going towards the ball, okay?
Yeah,
Instead of kind of backing up away from it a little bit, kind of keeping that rear end back behind us to give our arms a good place to clear. But we'll take a look down the line. But if I had to make a bet, it's kind of like we come up, and you see how my spine comes up when I do that, right? And then I kind of have to kind of flip at the ball a little bit to get through there. Okay, now it's kind of an advanced move, right? But we'll give you some drills to kind of help get you into that a little bit. But I definitely want to take a look down the line and make sure that is what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But from what I see here face on, I would probably say that we're probably having a little bit of what I used to call the Elvis.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, throwing.
Oh, yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah.
It's great for dance moves, but not
probably
so
not the
good for
greatest for your
golf.
back either, I guess.
No, because you're going to start to probably feel a little pinch on that right side here a little bit, because we're kind of getting on up over here, and that's usually the area that starts to hurt a little bit for most golfers, is that little pinch area, because we're extending up and through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of get this right there. Okay. Just go ahead and give me a swing there.
Definitely seems easier to keep in balance.
Good.
I mean, it feels a little awkward with, the contact and everything, but that's because I'm so used to coming over the top. But that 0.5, that's...
Well, that was the last swing, so we're going to get one
gotcha.
more here. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we were in analysis mode, so it didn't record the actual shot, but...
Yeah.
Let me do
Felt much better on
About to say, that looked really good, my man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep. So
Got
now we're
even
getting
closer on those two numbers.
Correct. We're getting our carry closer to our total, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good right there. Club path, as I said, if it's over or under, I'm okay with it, as long as we're getting close to zero, right?
Okay.
That means that we're coming through good. If we're
Okay.
getting over too much.
Okay.
I'd like to see that face a little bit closed a little bit, right? But we can live with that.
Now coming down to zero, closer to zero is closing that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Right now it's 2.2 degrees open, right?
And that's why I'm going right.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so let's just take a look down the line here. Take a look at JT. I'm going to put a little line right here on our keister. I'm going to put a line on his keister. All right, and then I'm going to just kind of put we've got a hand line right there you can kind of see. But I'm going to kind of put one right
Then I look a little closer than he does too, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
With mine.
So that's why I'd kind of like to see, and I'll kind of work on this, I'd like to see just a slight reach with the arms.
Okay.
Right, you see how here's the shoulders, and the butt of the club kind of comes underneath the shoulders, and the hands are kind of underneath the chin.
Gotcha.
Right, you can kind of see if I drew a line underneath your chin, your hands are a little bit inside that. Okay, I'm not going to say.
Where's his? Right at his hands.
Yeah, so if I put a
Okay.
line right here, you can kind of see
Gotcha.
the right part of it. His right hand is kind of underneath his chin.
Okay.
Like the top of his right hand is underneath his chin. Okay, so just ever so slight of a reach right there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll kind of go through here just a little bit, right? So what we're going to kind of notice, what we're going to focus on this frame right here is what your hands are doing, your hand path, okay? And then what we want to kind of notice is what your keister's doing.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of go with hand trail right there. And shaft hand. Shaft hand. Club shaft. Let's go. There. Let's go. All right, so because our hands are kind of in, watch how your hands go out and away to get to that position. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or like you were saying, if I'm able to tap that ball in inside. It's
Yes.
gonna have me on the right path, but
Right?
I can't because my legs are probably too close almost.
Yeah, they're a little too close. We
I
got
have
the
to
hands
feel
in
like
a
I
little
was
bit.
wrapping it or something.
Right? So we feel like if we came inside, we'd hit our thigh.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Does that
yeah.
give you a good
Uh-huh.
idea there?
Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, if I could get you to stop right here,
Perfect.
we'd be in a good position. Now I'd like to see the chest a little bit more up. You see how it's kind of a little bit more over, right?
Where was that now? Show me again.
So if you take a look at JT here, right? You
Yeah.
see how his spine is up a little bit,
Uh-huh.
where yours is kind of a little bit more crouched and down a little bit.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's because we've got excessive knee bend here a little bit.
Okay.
So kind of get a little less knee bend, arms out just a little bit away from us just a little bit, and feeling like we're standing a little bit taller than what we are.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's going to be easier to rotate for us,
Okay.
right? But what we're going to really watch here is that,
Yeah, right there. Get way too.
right?
far
So
back.
here's our takeaway hand path right here, and you can kind of see. So I wouldn't say it's an over the top move as much as it is the hands rerouting.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can kind of see we're here, 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 and then look how much this keister's kind of going off the line here.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you see how his is there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that tells me that's going to be what we call early extension. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Is his go I guess a little bit further maybe? Yeah. Okay.
Right? I mean, it's ever so slightly off the line, and that might be where I drew it at a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing
Yeah,
is
but
that,
right there you can see where I'm still kind of
correct,
throwing into it.
correct. Your spine's going up
Mhm.
to make room for your hand path instead of having your hips turn away a little bit, so you got room for your hand path.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Now, I think the setup kind of plays a part in that,
Uh-huh.
right?
Being too
Uh,
close.
Correct,
Uh-huh.
being too close to the ball,
Mhm.
right? The other thing is that we want to kind of feel like, and this is a drill that we would do at home, right? Get our keister up against the wall,
Mhm.
right? And I want to feel like my rear end brushes against that, and then as I shift into this side a little bit, I want to feel like this left glute is smashing glass,
Okay. Gotcha.
okay?
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So let's kind of come on over here and I'll give you a good feel for that, all right? Good, arms across our chest,
Mhm.
good.
So, and then just
So
barely
you're gonna
touching
give-
now.
So you're going to give me a little less knee bend. So we want to
Okay.
feel like our knees are just over our shoelaces.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now you're in a good position. You probably feel like you're really tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But you're in a
Yeah.
good position now. So go ahead and turn your hips back. All right? Now as you kind of laterally shift forward just a little bit. There you go. Now smash that glass back behind you. Yeah!
Okay.
That's a different feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? So
Yeah.
that starts with our setup, right? Not
Uh-huh.
getting like this, okay? But
Right.
getting our knees to feel like they're just over our shoelaces,
Okay.
okay? So if you get on over here and you can't see your shoelaces, you got too much knee bend, okay?
Okay.
And what that does to us, if I've got too much knee bend, it locks my hip. If I get like this, I can turn that thing because this leg now can extend the way that it needs to. But if I'm like this, then I've got to kind of go, get into position. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So really, it's not the overall motion per se that I see as an issue. It's more of our setup and stance, right? And ball position.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay.
those are the big things I kind of see right there. So
All right.
let's kind of take a look at JT here so you kind of see his knee flex, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
he's kind of a mid, taller guy, and he's not like short, but I mean he's.
I'd say he's probably like 5'10", 5'11",
Oh, okay.
something like
Okay.
that maybe. But
Yeah,
you
Scheffler's what, about 6'2", isn't he?
yeah, 6'3",
Yeah,
6'2",
yeah,
something
okay.
like that. Big tall
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
Right, but if I kind of drew a line here, typically what we see is from the hip to the ankle joint is in line.
Okay.
Okay, so if I took this and went down, you see how your hip is now pretty much over the heel or back
Okay.
ankle.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to give us some difficulty with our rotation as we come through.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's kind of like one of those things, as I kind of put into another sport. I'm sure you play basketball because
Yeah.
you're a tall guy,
Uh-huh.
right? If I said, hey, I want you to guard me,
Uh-huh.
If you're up like that,
Uh-huh.
that's what I kind of see as your setup. You'd kind of be more like this,
Yeah.
right? Where our knees
Uh-huh.
would be flexed just slightly, but still able to activate.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your club right there. There we go. Okay.
Gotta watch me, man. The Alzheimer's kicks
I
in.
get you, man. I move that thing around on people quite a bit, so that's on me.
Okay.
All right. So a lot going on here, right? But
Mm-hmm.
as you know, what I'd like to see with a setup change, right? The ball a little bit more up in our setup. Feel like our knees are not so far bent, okay? And our hands ever so slightly away from us just a little bit. Okay, that's going to feel really awkward for us, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me take a look at something, see if it fixed itself. Yep, it did.
Okay.
That's great.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir, whenever you're ready.
Wow.
That had to feel good.
Yeah.
That sounded
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. I went up to 145 to 155, and then I'm still a little over the top.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm not so worried about that. It's
Uh-huh.
so much closer to zero, like I said, right? That we can get away with that,
Okay.
right? Now you're starting to close the club face. You're not chasing it down the line a little bit.
Mhm.
The big thing is now your angle of attack is down without you having to get down. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And now your club head speed is really jumped up.
Okay.
Okay, so that's telling me that we're getting our arms in a good position and we're able to really rotate and turn instead of kind of getting stuck and trying to hit the ball.
Yeah. So the knee flex almost leans to the jumping up through the ball.
Correct, because we
Yeah.
got to get our spine out of the way.
Yeah.
We got to get our
Yeah, yeah.
hand path to go
Okay.
through. So you're going to kind of, I don't have room here. Get out of the way, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we kind of, and that's where you're going to have your early release, your
Mhm.
flick, like you kind of talked about, because
Yeah.
now you've got to match up this jump with this flip.
Mhm.
And if it don't go, Chunky City,
Yeah.
right? If I hit it too thin, it's
Uh-huh.
out of here, right?
Right.
So it's a combination of setup, number one, number two, ball position.
Okay.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Right?
Uh-huh.
And getting our hands in a good position.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
All right, big guy. Let's hit a few more here. Right? Get yourself in a good setup, right? Not too wide, not too.
And you said I should look down and my chin is almost like over this hand kind of?
Yeah. So
that.
I would even get a little less knee flex here. And let's move our setup just a little bit smaller. There you go. Good.
Mhm.
All right? And we're going to feel like we're standing tall. There we go. Good.
Mhm.
There we go. Okay? Good.
Okay. Got a little thin there.
It's okay.
I think, but that was just, yeah, I can tell.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. If we hit them every time straight, I wouldn't have a problem, right?
Yeah, but no, just.
Okay, there you go. Okay, narrow up that stance just a little bit for me. There we go. Good.
Club looks, and I mean, the head looks where it needs to be. Do you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you like having it lined up off the toe, the heel?
Maybe I should try maybe a little more middle to heel.
Yeah, I'd like it more in the middle than the toe.
Okay.
It seems
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
off the toe.
Yeah, that might be like leaning to the bad contact. Got a little crazy with the backswing right there, I think, but. You gotta get to that like stop point where you almost feel this hand or something there, maybe.
Well, what I would do as a way to practice, let me jump on in there real quick. All right. The big thing is to control where our backswing is a little bit, right?
Mhm.
I would just kind of get the feeling of swinging where the left arm gets parallel to the ground
Stop.
and just stop, right? Get a feel for that, and then getting the right arm parallel to the ground. We're just a little bit beyond it, right?
Okay.
And that's a great way to kind of feel like, hey, where is everything at? where do I come, right? And I guarantee you're going to start making better centerness of contact, right? That you're not going to have to get back up over here. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So, okay, hands a little bit more out front of us. Feel like we're standing tall, chest exposed, right?
Yes.
Right? And we're just going to swing L to L. Left arm parallel to the ground and right arm parallel to the ground. Okay?
Oh, I followed through.
That's fine. Okay.
So you're saying to go to here?
Yeah, so if you kind of set up for me here. Okay. I'm going to kind of do this real quick for you. Okay, so there we go, good. If you bring it on back for me. Okay. This doesn't have to be dead straight. There you go.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
good. Yes,
Okay.
yes, okay.
Okay.
Feel more like Jordan Speed.
Yeah, you feel your wrist more that way.
Correct, because if I lock that thing up, you got a lot
all
of
I
tension.
feel is shoulder.
There
Yeah.
you go, okay?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be deadlocked. You don't
Okay.
want this either, right, where it
Right.
starts to bend, but it's soft, right?
Okay.
And now
Okay.
now you're getting a good wrist hinge.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we want to kind of stop right there, and then just kind of swing through for me. All right, okay, once again. There, and just swing through, slowly. Okay.
Slow. Oh yeah, and stop.
Right, so we just want to kind of feel like it's a half speed swing or something like that right now, okay?
So we get to here.
Yep, down and through. Good. Okay. So now you're starting to figure out where your club path is, okay? That's all right. Grab this real quick and we're going to take one down the line.
Stance look about the right width.
You can narrow it up just a little bit for me. Just a smidge. There you go. That way you can really turn through it.
And this one in front just a little bit. Better. I didn't stop.
It's okay.
Stop the contact. So it's more of that 9 to 3 thing.
Yeah, you know, if we were on a clock, right, you know, this would be kind of your 9 o'clock position, this would be your 3 o'clock position.
I'm so concentrating on trying to get my, alignment and all this that I'm not thinking when I finish and where I'm stopping, because that's where my bad habit I think is just to get way back and everything flies out of control.
Yeah, the club pulls you around, not the other way around, right? That's what's going on. Right, that club's starting to pull you around the stone. You control it. I'm going to kind of help move you here just a little bit. So go ahead and set up for me.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry about the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. All right, so I'm going to move the club on you, okay? Wow, that is tight. Here we go. Let me have the club. There we go. Okay, feel that? There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, feel that release?
Yeah.
Okay, feel how those forearms are softening up on us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. There we go. Now that face is starting to close or square up, however you want to say it. Okay?
Okay.
All right, just give me a couple swings and feel that, right? Swinging the club. There you go. Feel how there's a little release at the bottom? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay? Good. Let's get this guy in a good position. Okay, good, just like that. Good. Just slightly up of center. Okay. Good.
That way enough.
Yeah, just
So
where it
just-
feels comfortable, right? Now, big thing is for us, want these knees back, want that chest up. Okay. Feel like you're standing. I'm going to do this to you. So stand up just a little bit. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
More like that.
Much better.
Okay.
Much better. Now your hips aren't so locked, right? And your arms are in a good position. So we probably need to move that ball here, or we need to scooch in a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good. Feel that club swinging past you, right? Okay, like we were doing just a minute ago. Path is getting a lot better. Low point's in a good position. Just need to get that face to close. That's okay. That had to feel pretty good.
That was better.
Okay. Much better job of getting that face to close.
Uh-huh.
Okay, path was right. Face was left. Low point was really good. Maybe a little bit too far ahead, but that's fine. I like that a lot more than that 1.7 that we had.
And I didn't take near the backswing, and I still got it out there 135 yards.
Correct.
Yeah.
And here's the big thing, right? When we talked about the one thing, we talked about smash factor, right? Okay. That was 140, right? So we took basically a half swing or a three-quarter swing, and we hit the centerness of the contact, right? We're going to get way more distance out of that than we are trying to swing 1,000 miles an hour, right? Okay? Good work. Let's keep going, okay, big guy?
All right.
Any questions right now, John? Anything I can kind of answer for you?
No, I mean, it's just, you know, overall just kind of feeling comfortable because it feels like I'm standing straight up. I know it's the right way to do it, but you know, I've been kind of bending my knees more and all that for a long time. So it's just kind of getting myself that feeling, you know. Does this looks all right?
Looks good. Looks athletic.
Oh yeah, I hit that right on the screws there.
There you go.
Felt like it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was like a three-quarter swing and it went 141.
Yeah. I mean, that's where your 8-iron should be living, right? Probably about 140, 145, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Your total's about 150, 155, right? That's where we want to kind of live at with an 8-iron.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Because when you came on in here, I think you were hitting it like 130 or something like that. So now we're getting our low point down to a really good position, right? We're getting our path out to a positive, and we're getting our face negative to that path, which is going to give us a draw.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Good work. You're doing great, buddy.
Felt good again. What makes those numbers probably come closer together? Just the overall contact being right on, or
So what number are you
the
referring to?
133 to 150, the rollout, I guess, is the.
Well,
You
once
said you wanted them closer together.
closer together, yeah. The big thing is I would, I'm not a club fitter, I'm an instructor, but I would probably start taking a look at your shafts because, to be honest with you, we'd want more spin.
Okay, and then what causes that? More flex or less?
That's where the fitter would kind of come in,
gotcha.
right? To kind of find out where your flex point would be, because when we talk about flex, okay, it's what your transition is, right? Some people have a hard transition where this is going to really bend. Some people have a soft transition, right? And that's where,
Oh, that's the thing that they figure out, kind of thing.
Correct.
Right.
What kind of flex works best for you to give you the optimal flight was spin.
Okay.
Right? Right now, it's got a little too less spin.
Okay.
Right? So it's just kind of knuckling through the air for the iron that we have. We'd want, as I said, I'd want more probably about 7,000 RPMs, which is going to give you a lot more spin, a lot more height too. Okay? Stop and drop more. That's going to get the numbers closer together.
Okay.
So if I just kind of take a look at your shafts here, okay. So I would venture to guess that I think these for you, now as I said, I'm not a club fitter per se. I think they're a little light for you.
Okay. So it would almost be like a little heavier.
Yeah, I'd probably put you in a little bit heavier club. I would say those are probably like a 105 gram. I don't see the number exactly. I'd probably fit you in something like a 110.
Okay.
You know, maybe a 115, because you're a big guy, strong guy. And then I'd probably, you know, depending on what we're looking at, I'd probably may put you in like a regular flex. So we start to get the spin up a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think those are stiff. I think they're stiff, and I think they're a little light.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
But that's where, you know, talking to a club fitter,
Yeah.
right? Figuring out where your load point is and all that is going to help you. But the big thing is that...
Now the crazy thing is, when I hit the 8-iron good on the course, I'm up to... Now, this is looking... and your conditions play into it too, right? But 160, somewhere around there to the green is what I'm pulling the 8-iron out on. Sometimes if I look at like a 148 to 160, it would all be on conditions. So like if the wind was, you know, had a little bit of wind slightly in my face, or I'm trying to choke down on it a little bit, you know, I would hit, you know, that's the kind of the length that I would look at. And then a 9-iron, say from 130 to 145-ish.
Okay.
You know, depending on the conditions. You know, I'm not saying I can hit it 145 into the wind or something. But, and then the pitch and wedge kind of right up to that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I would kind of say...
But not always hit well. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
One time hit good, and then, you know, 2 other times hit flat or so-so, you know?
Yeah.
So
I would venture to guess, what I would say is that I think trying to hit an 8-iron 160 is a little too much of a bridge too far.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Like I hit my 8-iron probably about 142 to 145.
Okay.
Okay. If I've got a 160 club, I'm probably going to go to maybe a hard 7 or a 6, and that's me. Okay. I know we all have different club head speeds. But the big thing is what I'm trying to get at is that if I have a 160 with an 8-iron, what am I going to try to do? Swing harder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what you try to get away from is
correct,
trying to kill it.
Correct. And then we start messing with launch angles, and then we start kind of getting a little bit more flatter trajectory, right? And those are some of the things that kind of play into it a little bit, right? It's not about the max that I can hit it, right? It's what I can consistently hit it and what I can cover.
Yeah.
Right? That's the big thing. It's what I know I can cover, right? I can cover that bunker that's 130 easily with an 8-iron. Then I'm good, right? I just need to swing easy, right?
Yeah.
Or 150, I know a 7-iron will easily get over that bunker, right? But not saying, well, if I really nut this, I'm going to be over that bunker, right? What's going to happen, we're probably going to swing a little bit too hard, get a little bit too long with the swing, probably flick at the bottom, and then we hit a little chubby, and then we just talked ourselves into the thing that we didn't want to do. Does that make sense a little bit?
Can you tell on this? I mean, is it taking a camera shot too? Am I jumping up like I was, you know, through it, or am I staying down with it?
We can take a look right now. Right here, we'll give you another swing here, and I'll take a look and see how your early extension's doing.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, it just feels a lot more solid foundation.
Yeah, if we're not so squatted in, I don't have to get on out, right? If I feel tall, I can turn out of that way.
So this looks good here.
Yeah, let's give it a swing. Great swing.
Yeah.
Great swing.
That felt a lot better.
Okay. So let's take a look. Okay. I will be honest, if you get it this quick, I will be very impressed. I will. I will. A lot of my students struggle with this, but I'm really hoping so. So much better. Okay? So much better.
A lot of it is I have room to kind of move through there, you know?
Yes.
I think the whole, but I mean, too, I can almost still be a little further away, doesn't it? look like?
Maybe, but I'll be honest with you,
It's not bad.
this is a big change for where we were.
Yeah.
Right? It's a huge change. So I don't want to just send you off onto the deep end here, but I'm seeing a lot less knee flex now. I'm seeing a lot more width, a hand's width between your crotch and the butt of your club.
Yeah.
Okay? Your hands are hanging straight down off our shoulders, which is really good. I'm not worried about where the hands are in relationship to the chin. Okay? But now your arms are hanging down, where it was kind of more retracted back a little bit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? But the big thing is, as we come down through here, still a little bit over the top, just a little bit. Okay? And we'll work on that.
So the left hand needs to be more like in here, dropping down, right?
Well,
instead of
we want to, and that ball drill will kind of help us out a little bit, right? But we really, if we kind of look at JT's hands here, right? Just watch his hand path here, right? See where it starts? Okay. All right, and it finishes just a little bit over that line. Okay, and that's to be normal. That's centrifugal force in play right there. Okay. So I'd like to see, if I kind of drew a line right here on our hands, right? I'd like to see that kind of go inside of that just a little bit. Okay, and then when we get here, not bad, just a little bit over the top, so it's not as bad as I was thinking.
Okay.
Okay. But ideally, we'd like to have those hands just go just inside that line just a little bit. Okay, a little bit more of that one-piece takeaway that they talk about.
When you say inside that line, it's which line?
So right here, yeah, this line right here that you see right here.
The blue line?
Right? Yeah, we'd want to see it kind of go along that line right there,
okay.
right? So as you kind of see with JT right here, I've drawn like this little line right here. He's going to stay to the inside of that as he kind of comes back.
Okay.
Right? And that's where that ball to the inside would really help us. You know, you'd visually see that and visually start to get a feel for that, right?
Okay.
But the big thing is that we want to kind of have the hands kind of return back to where they started.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because that means if I had a circle around my hands, right? Well, let's say a hula hoop, right? I'd be here, my hands would come back to there, right? And that would keep that circle, right? But I don't want to go up, out, and then back over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of what we see right there a little bit.
But the knee flex still could probably be a little straighter, but it's better.
It's so much better. I mean, I wouldn't, at this point, I really wouldn't be concerned about it. I mean, I think there may be a little bit, but that's a big change for where we are.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, the big thing that you can kind of do for yourself, right, is if we're out there practicing, get yourself in a good position, maybe get an alignment rod, and just make sure that you feel like your hip is stacked over your ankle.
Okay.
Okay, so wherever that may be. So if you feel like you're like this, you see how that hip would be back behind here? Okay, that would be more my heel. So if I kind of get here, now I feel like my hip is stacked over my ankle joint here.
Okay.
Then that's where I want to kind of feel. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Right, so if I kind of got you right here, right? Yeah, good. Okay, so that's where we kind of, and it's not that much knee flex, is it? Not nearly as much as you think, right?
Right.
Okay, so maybe just a little bit more. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see the knees are just over the shoelaces, which is good, but you can see the outside of your shoe.
Gotcha.
Right, but if you give me the old knee flex, right, you can't see the shoe, and you can't see the laces or anything anymore, right? And now you can feel that your hip is kind of locked in that position.
Yeah, I think as a taller person, sometimes you almost feel like you have to get down to the ball to make that contact, you know, because you always hear ball first, then the ground kind of thing, and get your shaft lean and all that. And I think that's what I've got myself just caught up in doing. And then, you know, along with the longer swing, and then, you know, your hands, it's almost like when you get into that longer swing to catch up, you're bringing it through really fast, right? Kind of thing.
So here's the thing that I would probably venture to guess from somebody like you. You're what, 6'2",
6'1.5",
6'1.5", right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I bet nobody's put extensions in your clubs, have they? right? So you're playing a set of clubs that were fit for me,
Uh-huh.
right? How much shorter am I to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So
I always feel like, see, my buddy's like 5'10", so
Mm-hmm.
he has that where his knees don't look like they're overflexed or anything, because he's like right at that height.
yeah, because
Yeah,
his shaft link is matching what his arms and his body is, right? So for you, over so many years of playing this game, you've played a standard, set of clubs, right? So you've got to get your body in a position to match what that club's doing, instead of the other way around, where the club matches what your body is.
Right.
And that's the importance of a club fitter, right? That's where the club fitting process kind of comes in, gets you the lie, loft, and all that stuff as you kind of move forward. Does that
They
make
just
sense?
put like an extension in a regular shaft.
What they would do now, what they do is they'd order up shafts,
Just
and then they
long.
cut it to the length that's proper to you.
Gotcha.
And because you don't want to put extensions in there, then you start putting too much weight in the
No.
butt of the club.
No.
The head of the club starts feeling really light, and we
Uh-huh.
start doing some crazy things, right?
Okay.
So what they would do is they'd order up just regular raw shafts. They cut them probably an inch longer than standard, or a half inch longer for you probably. They probably also would take the club and probably point it down a little bit, make it a little bit flatter for you, or a little bit more upright depending on what you're trying to do. And that's going to match more of what your body style is to the other way around. Does that make
Okay.
sense? And that's
Yeah.
why I think you're falling into the trap of having too much knee flex, hands in, right? You're trying to get this club that's made for somebody shorter than you to a position that matches you. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So not to say that's going to be the be all end all, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
guarantee you your setup and your
Will be easier that way. Feel
more
easier.
comfortable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I gave you a little bit longer club and you got here, you'd be like, oh, night and day difference.
Well,
right?
I always feel like that, when you go look at putters, and the standard putter is about 34.5 inches or whatever, and when I stand up over a putter, I like for it to be more like 35.5, and I know there's some putters that still like to crouch or whatever, and they can be successful doing that, but I like just kind of standing over the ball and, line up and it be right there, and I don't have to, feel like I'm crouched.
Do you know
When-
why a putter length is 34 inches? Because a golf bag is 33.
Oh, really?
That's it.
That's the only reason
That's the
why?
only reason.
Wow.
That is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
everybody-
many guys have probably putt uncomfortably just because of that, and it's a little, like my brother-in-law is really good. He is about 5'10"-ish, but he uses the old peen and gets behind it, but I just never, and I know to a certain extent you've got to be behind it, see down the line or whatever, but I got one of those tailor-made spiders,
Yeah.
and I just kind of, I'll do my practice strokes behind it and I'll get kind of line up. Not that this is the best way, but I just feel comfortable doing it. And I line up on the ball and then I just go off the speed kind of in my head that I've thought of. I don't take a lot of practice strokes. I found the most success doing it that way. I don't know if that's proper or what, but.
Well, the Open Championship's coming up this week,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Open Championship's coming up this week. And I guarantee you'll see every good player except for Rory, right? Because Rory doesn't take a practice stroke. That's kind of what his mentality is, which is
Yeah.
great for Rory, but
Uh-huh.
it does bite him, as you can see with the short putts every once in a while. It's costing him a couple, right? But you're always going to see these guys, right? This is what I always see from every one of these guys. They're looking at the hole as they're making a stroke,
Yeah.
right? They're getting a feel with their shoulders of what they're doing, right? I never, the bad putters I see doing this.
Yeah, looking down.
Looking at the ball or looking down, looking at the putter going back and forth, that'll drive you crazy, right? So, I love how Jordan Spieth kind of practices. He's looking at the hole and he's hitting it, right? It not to say that's where I want to take it out on the course, but it definitely gives you a feel of where, the face, like any other sport. If I'm throwing something to somebody, I'm looking at my target. Right? Putting's about the only strange thing where I'm still looking at the ball as I come through, and that's to keep my head straight. But I really like the idea of if I'm looking at the hole, I give it like 2 or 3 practice strokes looking at it, feeling it with my shoulders, and then I just step on in. I don't waste any time. I keep that same feel and go.
Okay.
Right? That would be my 2 cents on that putting part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But as far as the length of putter, you know, that might be something that you might want to venture into too. You may have a 34-inch putter, and you may be a guy that needs a 35, maybe even 36 putter.
Well, I had them put the little extension things in mine, so it is like a 35 and a half or something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so, which tends to be, you know, and I'm not saying I'm some great putter either, you know, I mean, very average at best, but it does help me feel comfortable, I guess, putting.
Yes.
I'm not so crouched.
Yes.
You know?
It's
So,
allowing your arms
just
to
like this.
swing, right? Instead of getting in here, you know.
Yeah.
The days of the pop stroke with Jack Nicklaus and
Yeah,
Arnold
where they
Palmer.
were, he would be like this almost, looking down.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I was putting on, step meter of 3 or 4 putting and a lot of fur, yeah, I'm going to have to put a pop stroke into it. But now these things are just glass, absolute glass, and you just got to have a small, steady stroke.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that's the big thing there. All right. So we'll kind of wrap it up there a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me some questions. What are some concerns, questions? Talk to me.
Well, just like if I go to the practice tee or whatever, what would you concentrate on just to kind of zone in as the major, you know, factors of my swing right now? I mean, I know that, you know, getting the ball position properly, right?
Yeah.
Standing more upright, get the club away from me enough.
Perfect.
So like when my hands are hanging down, should be like right at my shoe top or the front of my shoes.
So
or
I'm going to take the club out of your hands.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to just get in a comfortable position and just let your hands drop. Okay. Put them together for me. There you go.
Right there.
Okay. Right. I can't say it's lined with a toe or this because your arm structure is so much different than mine, right? But if I got you in a good position, right, where I can make a free throw, right, and I got right there and I said, just let your arms hang down and then put them together, that's going to give me a pretty good position of where I need to be.
Okay.
Okay. So first thing I would kind of work on is if you've got a full-length mirror at the house or something like that, get yourself looking at yourself.
Okay.
Right? See where your positions are, right? You know, when we're out there on the course, we've got to, we don't have the camera, we don't have the instructor, we don't have the mirror, right? We have our imagination, our third eye is what I like to call it, right? But the more I can look at that position, right, I can relate what that is, and then I can kind of imagine where it needs to kind of be. So there's that small window of reality and imagination where things come to life. Does that make sense a little bit, right? So that would be the first part, right? Make sure that I've got good setup, right? Make sure that I feel like I'm up. See myself full length down the line, face on, see where I'm at, right? Make sure you're not getting crouched where it feels comfortable, right? Feel versus real, right?
Right.
The other thing I would work on, you know, as we go is have the alignment rod there, okay? Get the ball, you know, for pitching wedge to 9-iron, it's going to be...
For it to be right in the middle is just like right under the...
Underneath your sternum, right? So just think about the lines on your shirt.
Okay.
Everything, you know, from your pitching wedge to 9-iron is going to be played right here with the buttons. Everything else is going forward.
Okay.
Okay. When I start talking about specialty shots, we'll start going back a little bit. Okay. But for irons and woods and everything, it's here forward, right? As I said before, the more the ball's back, the more my chest has to go back to go get it. Easier to get stuck.
Right.
Right. The ball's up forward. I can shift into that left side and I can chase that ball down the fairway.
Yeah.
Does that make sense right there?
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it.
Okay.
You're coming through, and chasing it down the middle or whatever,
Right. Now the other thing I would kind of work on just a little bit is I would get like a little alignment rod like this, okay? And all I want to do is I want to feel like I'm swinging from 7 to 1 on a clock face, and I really just want to do L to L to get a feel for where that path needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me jump in there and just kind of demonstrate real quick for you. Okay. So it would be just like this. So here's my path, right? I'm just going to get to the point where I get up here, and I just want to feel like my hands are tracing along that line right there. So here we go. Here. Okay.
All right.
At this point, I really don't care where the ball goes, per se. I just want to make sure, let me kind of do it again here. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that my path, I got a little over the top on that one. Okay, but I want to try to get it as close to 0 as I can, or at least positive. Okay.
Okay.
Now the other thing that we'd probably have you work on a little bit and I didn't show you this, get ourselves like a little impact bag.
Okay.
Okay. Get that just like this. Okay. Now, the one thing I do notice is that you usually have an open club face a little bit through impact, right? One of those things is that you've got these tight forms. You could tell when I was trying to get you through there, right? It was tough to move, right? Remember, it's not a golf hit, it's a golf swing. Okay, so we're trying to use this tool as best as we can, and it wants to do, you know, as you kind of see this, that's what it wants to do. It doesn't want to do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.